Today we're going to look at the Ideal Reflex T-Stripper Dual Non-Metallic Stripper. Here's the model number 45621 for 12.2 and 14.2. It cuts the sheathing off 14.2 and 12.2 wire. It only has two strippings, AWG 14 and number 12. And it's got the curved handles here, which I like. It's got a 632 bolt cutter, an 832 bolt cutter. On the back it tells you what it can do. It cuts cable, it cuts the casing off the cable, it removes the casing, and strips the wires. Made in USA. Now I said, well, there's no loops on here, but there is loops on here. Just the way they package it, they install the plastic through the loops to hold the pliers to the packaging here. So we'll take a look at these 45621 Ideal strippers here. Bought them at Lowe's for $29 Canadian. Get this out of the package. Going to just take a pair of pliers and jam it in behind here and just pull it through where they got it tied to the loopers here. Here's one. There's two. Let's get a measurement on these pliers here. About 7.5. It's got the clip here. Opens and closes the pliers. Got a spring inside here. Nice spring. This is a Torx 15, I believe, and it's the bolts, so you can adjust it. There's your Torx 15 here. So you can adjust it. You can see it turning in the back here. So you can adjust that. The main reason why these Ideal 45621 is for cutting sheathing. 14.2, 12.2 you won't use very much. And the solid wire just 14 and 12 and not stranded wire. So it's just a simplified version of their pliers here. And it's got the looping holes on the end here is nice as well. And the curved handles. That's why I like these, the curved handles. So now we're going to take a look at all these features there on this particular 45621 pliers. Got two layers on the handles here. You can see the both yellow here, and do not use on live circuit. So don't use it on a live circuit because the handles are not designed for that. Let's use the cutters. So you got lots of room here. Make a nice job. Let's try the 14.2 sheathing. That's why I bought these pliers, for the sheathing. It's a nice cut there. And use those pliers, the end of the pliers, to cut that sheathing off. Pull that sheathing off here. Does a nice job. So let's cut some 14.2 wire, solid wire. Cuts it nice. Let's try the loopers on these pliers here. And we'll try the end of the pliers here just to see how we'll loop the wire here. Does a nice job. So can they cut 12.2 wire, these cutters? Sure they can. No problem. This is 12.2 wire. Let's cut the sheathing out this wire with these pliers here. The sheathing off. Makes a nice job. 12.2 wire, so let's use the see if we can strip some wire here. Works nice. Which is big enough for 12.2 wire. Should be. And we'll use the pliers itself just to see how it works here. Very nice. So the Ideal has a 6/32 and 8/32 bolt cutter here, and the 6/32 is common with the holding your receptacles and your switches here. Now we're going to cut this bolt. Say for some reason you want to cut it, it's too long. So you put it through your pliers. You're just going to cut it exactly where the two pliers line up, the two halves line up here. We got our safety glasses on here. So we're going to cut that. Makes a nice cut. Now we're going to thread it out. Probably going to need a screwdriver because it rethreads it on the way back out. So and then we'll put it back in our receptacle. Let's put that bolt we just cut back in the receptacle here. And see, it threaded it. On the way out, it threaded it, so we're putting it back in here. Works fine here. Now it says that you can cut 8/32 bolt here, and that's usually that holds your lamp on or your light on, or your junction back, your cover for your junction box here. So we'll thread that through here and see if it'll cut it. These are fairly small pliers, not overly large pliers. Cut that bolt here. We got our safety glasses on there. There's no way it's going to cut that bolt. Maybe a brass bolt, but not those bolts that hold your light on. Let's try a brass bolt now, and it should be able to do the brass one there. Not going to be as hard to cut here. Got our safety glasses on here, and see if it'll cut the brass bolt here. Yep. So it cuts the brass bolt, but not the steel one. I really like these Ideal 45621 pliers. I love the handles. It's got a curved handles. Fits very nicely in your hand. To open and close them, that clasp is very easy to work here. And it's got just the 14-2 sheathing and 12-2 sheathing, and just the two wire size, 14 and 12, solid wire. It's got the loopers in here. It does have the 6/32 and the 8/32. I don't think I use that very often. And the end of the pliers here has some grooves in there, so you can be handy to have these pliers. They're compact, so they can get in some tight spaces here. Maneuverability, and they get the writing on both sides of the pliers here. Please take a second and just hit the subscribe button. It doesn't cost you anything. It helps my channel out a lot. And hopefully you give me a thumbs up here on this review of the Ideal 45621 pliers. Thanks to all my current subscribers here. Thanks for taking the time to watch the video today. Have a great one, people.